talk today about open houses. I'm going to do several videos on open houses and how to get people's contact information. We all know that's the point, right? If you hold an open house, the point of the open house is not necessarily to sell that house, although it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt getting exposure, whether you advertise in the MLS or you put it on Facebook or you email other agents about the house. You might knock the neighborhood ahead of time. You're getting exposure. So if the seller asks, why do an open? It doesn't hurt. We can get the house out in front of a lot of people. And in this market now, in October of 2022, it's not the same market we had a year ago, where things were flying off the shelves the day we listed them. It's not that way anymore. I've been a realtor for over 28 years. I can tell you 2 to 3 months to sell a house was pretty typical for 3 decades. So this 3 and 4 days, average days on market, is not realistic. It's not sustainable. And it's not the market we're in anymore. So open houses work. I coach a lot of agents all over the country. I can tell you I coach some top producing agents that sell hundreds of homes a year, and open houses is a big part of all of their plan. So if you're sitting here going to tell me, Rick, open houses don't work, I don't want to do open houses, that's fine that you don't want to do open houses. That doesn't bother me. But open houses do work. And you cannot tell me otherwise. I built my business on open houses, and I still, in 2022, almost 2023 now, coach a lot of agents that are really successful, have high-level businesses, and open houses are a part of their plan. And it's a great way to get in front of potential buyers and sellers. But yes, the purpose of the open house from our perspective as a real estate agent is to get in front of new people, to develop relationships and get leads. That's what it is at the end of the day. So people say, well, how do you get people to sign in? I have a sign-in sheet, Rick. I have a sign-in book. Nobody wants to sign in. I hear this all the time. Well, everybody that came through had an agent already, or nobody came through. It's like, well, maybe we need to do a better job picking our open houses, right? The best home to sell from an open house perspective to get leads may not be the best home to buy, because it might be tucked away in a neighborhood and have a lot of privacy if you want to buy it. But if you want to get leads, it needs to be visible. A busy road is great. Being at the front of the neighborhood where a lot of drive-by traffic sees you, that's great for an open house. It may not be great to live in, so we have to think through, and I'll do several videos on this. What are my strategies when picking an open house? That's the first thing. Picking the correct one. Then picking correct times and days. Just to give you some ideas, when I moved to Idaho from Oregon, I held a lot of open houses, and I held them every single day. I didn't just do a Saturday or a Sunday open. Especially if it was vacant, I love to do open houses Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Do them every single day of the week. And don't do it all day long. I would do it during drive time. I want people to see me and get familiar with my name, get familiar with my signage, and I want to get exposure. So I do like a 2-hour open house, 4 to 6. 4 to 6 in the evenings, Monday through Friday, use it like a model home. I'd be writing handwritten note cards. I'd be calling potential clients. I'd be texting and emailing when nobody was there during my downtime. But here's my strategy for getting people to give me my information. I'll start with the overview, right? The general, then we'll get into more specific. The general way to get people to give you their information is to give them something of value. Right? It's not a complicated concept. If I can offer them value, they're much more likely to want to work with me and to want to give me their information. If I just say, hey, please fill out the guest list, put your name and email and phone number on here for me, most people don't want to do that. So I think about when somebody walks in the open house, like the second they walk in the door, I picture a tachometer on their chest, right? The RPMs. Tachometer, it's maxed out to the red. They're redlined with defensiveness. They don't want to sign anything. They don't want to tell me anything. They certainly don't want to fill out a guest list and give me their name and phone number. Who wants to do that, right? Nobody does. So I don't make them do it. So when people walk into an open house, the first thing I want to do is just introduce myself and give them 3 or 4 bullet points about the house. Things they're probably wondering. I've done open houses for years, and I will tell you, the number one reason people show up at open houses is signs. Okay, you can advertise it. You can put it on Zillow. You can put it in the MLS. You can put it on Facebook. You can put it in the paper. You can do all kinds of things, and that's great. But the number one reason people show up is because they see your signs, period. So have a lot of signs. Have at least 4 to 6 signs with directionals branded to you. So whether they come or not, they're seeing your name, your email, or your website, and your phone number, right? We want it branded. Don't just have an arrow open house. I see those sometimes. I'm thinking, okay, what a waste. How many cars are going to drive by that sign? Hundreds, if not thousands of cars will drive by your sign. How many are actually going to come in and meet you? Singles or tens at most. So I want a sign that's branded because I want all those people to see my name. I want all those people to see my website and phone number. Whether they call me or not is irrelevant. It's impressions. I'm getting impressions. You pay for that stuff on the internet. It's free when you do an open house. Obviously, you have to pay for the sign, but after that, it's free. So I have 4 to 6 signs directing people in. Then when they walk in the front door, my first thing is I want to put them at ease. I understand their tachometer is maxed out, so I want to put them at ease. I'll give them a couple of bullet points. Hey, thanks for coming on to the open house. I'm Rick Gray. Just so you know, this house is priced at $399,000. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,200 square feet. I mean, something like that. Just give them the price, bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. They were probably wondering that, because they probably came in off my signs. They didn't come in off Zillow, which explained all that to them. They probably didn't see it on the MLS, which has the bedrooms, bathrooms, and price. That's not how they got here. They got here because they saw my sign. So they have no idea how much it's listed for, how many square feet it is, how many bedrooms and bathrooms. They don't know that stuff. So when they walk in the front door, I introduce myself, I welcome them to the open house, and I'll give them 3 or 4 bullet points. Hey, this house is 2,250 square feet. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It's listed at $399. Feel free to walk around. Now they're like, oh, okay, some of their initial questions, like how much is this thing? How big is this thing? Those are answered. They're already done. And now I say, hey, go ahead and walk around. Now the tachometer has a chance to start dropping a little bit. Their defensiveness starts going down. I'm not going to attack them. I'm not going to ask them to sign a sign-in sheet. I know people that are really hard closers sometimes say, hey, look, as a courtesy to the seller, I've heard that script before, as a courtesy to the seller, they want everybody to sign in, please fill out the form. And I used to do that. I'll be honest with you. I used to do that as well. And I'd have some I'd sign already ahead of time, have my wife sign in ahead of time a few times, so it's different handwriting. So it looks like other people have signed in. That's great, but it's not my best way to get information from people. The best way to get information from people is this. Here's a script I will tell you. I call it my coming soon script, which is after people have looked around, after I've given them a few bullet points, I kind of see where they're going. I'll stay away from them. I'll give them 5-10 minutes without me bothering them or saying anything. Then I might say something like, so how are you guys doing today? Are you in the market to maybe buy or sell a house? You just kind of checking out the neighborhood, kind of get a feel for where they're at. And then I'll ask them a question. How did you find this house? I'll ask them, did you find it online? Did you see the signs? I mean, how did you actually find my open house today? And they'll tell me, but most people will say, we saw the signs, Rick. We saw the signs we were driving by. Some people might say, well, we saw it on Redfin, or we saw it on Zillow, or we saw it on whatever. Great. Then my next question is the key. As soon as they tell me how they found the house, I'll say, do you realize a lot of times the best values in homes get sold before they hit the market? Did you know that? That's a great setup question. Did you realize a lot of times the best values sell before they go in the MLS or before they hit the market? Did you know that? Did you understand that? Or do you realize that? And they'll say, I didn't realize that, or I'm not sure how that works. I've heard about that. But either way, I'm setting them up for, I'm planting a seed. They're not seeing everything, right? Sometimes houses don't get a sign in the yard before they sell, and so nobody got a chance to see it. That actually happens. I've done it myself in my career many times. So I'm asking that question. Did you realize a lot of the best values sell before they hit the market? Did you know that? And I'm like, oh, not quite sure how that worked. And then here's my script. If you would like to work with me, I actually have access to properties before they hit the market. Right? That's a statement. First thing I'm going to do is make a statement. I have access to properties before they hit the market. This script was born out of the recession back in 2008 and 9. I had an agent in my office that did a lot of REO properties. So she would get lists of properties that she was going to list that month, and she would get them from a bank. They were faxed. Can you imagine that? A faxed list to her with somewhere between 10 and 30 homes every month that she actually was going to put on the market. These were distressed bank-owned properties now. I said, where do you get these lists? She goes, these are properties I'm listing. And she had to pay for the water, the power. She had to pay all the utilities for the entire time they were listed. So she wanted to sell them quickly. So I said, can I get access to that? She goes, yes, please, Rick, help me sell them. So that's where I developed that script. But we all, as realtors, have access to properties before they get listed. Most companies have a haves and wants at their weekly meeting. A lot of brokerages have a back office where you can put, hey, by the way, I'm listing this house next Thursday. I'm listing this ranch property next Thursday. Photos coming soon. Or I've got this house in this neighborhood next week. Here's what it's going to be. But let people know about it. That information is gold because nobody has that except us realtors, people in the office. So when I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Potential Buyer, wandering through my open house, I actually have access to properties before they hit the MLS, before they get listed. If I could find for you exactly what you're looking for and get you in there before it goes online and it goes on the market, would that be helpful? That's my next question. If I could find exactly what you're looking for, whatever your criteria is, beds, bath, part of town, price range, that kind of thing. If I could find exactly what you're looking for and get you in there before it goes on the market, would that be helpful? What do you think they're going to say? If they are a real buyer, they always say yes. Now, not everybody that comes through an open house is a real buyer. Some people don't care. They're just looking for design ideas. They're just killing time. They like to look at houses. I get that. But if they're a real buyer and they're seriously thinking about buying a house and you say, hey, I have access to properties before they hit the market. If you want to sit down with me, and if I could find you exactly what you're looking for, tell me what your criteria is. If I could find that and get you in a house like that to look at it before it goes on the market, would that be helpful? Yeah, that'd be helpful. Of course it would. Well then, okay, when are you available for 15 or 20 minutes to sit down? I get done with this open house at 6 o'clock. Are you available this evening? But now they want to meet with me. So that's my long answer to a short question. How do you get people, Rick, at an open house to fill out their information on a sign-up form? That's how you do it. You provide value and you give them some information that they can't get on their own. If all I do is regurgitate the MLS listing, well, they can pull that themselves. They can go to the public MLS. They can go to Zillow. They can find all this stuff out on their own. There's no reason for them to fill out your form, and they're probably not going to. So when I say, hey, did you realize a lot of the best market values, a lot of the best home values that sell, sometimes they never get to the MLS. Sometimes they never get listed. Did you understand that? Oh, well, I'm not quite sure how that works. Well, I actually have access to properties before they go on the market. If I could find you what you're looking for and get you to see it and get you in it before it goes in MLS, would that be helpful? Yes. Great. When are you available to meet for 15 or 20 minutes to go through exactly what you're looking for? That's the process. Now people give me their contact information. Now people want to get together with me. The role of a realtor is become more skills-based. Right? The last 2 years, it's been very, receiving oriented. We receive leads, we receive stuff, and we just try and put it together. Now, we actually have to think things through. We have to be good salespeople, and the way you become a good salesperson is to provide value. That's the root word of the word sales, by the way, which is to serve and provide value to people. But think that through. Think about that coming soon script next time you're doing an open house and use it. I promise you'll get more people to sign up and give you their information than if you just say, hey, look, I'm a great realtor. I like my clients. I would love to work with you. That can work, but it doesn't work every time. My coming soon script, when I did it, and I did a lot of open houses, it worked every time. And I had a lot of leads from that. So I use that next time. And I'm going to do some more on what else would I do in an open house to make sure I'm adding value to the people coming through. But that's video number 1. Hope you have some comments in the section below. Tell me what you do to get people to sign in, and tell me if you hold open houses or not anymore, because I think it's a greatly underused resource.